Hey, what's up everybody? Tony with Lido Loca, and this is all the food I ate on the Oasis of the Seas. Alright guys, it's that time to go through a day-by-day breakdown of all the food I ate on the Oasis of the Seas. Watch closely, tell me what your favorite item is, something you'd have to try more than once, and if you are new and you want all the latest and greatest going on here at Lido Loca, make sure you hit the subscribe button with the notification bell on. And now on to the video. Alright, so we got on the cruise ship and we immediately we dropped our bags off, we unpacked a little bit, and then we went looking for lunch. As we were exploring the ship, we went out to the boardwalk, and on the boardwalk is one of the included food options. This is from the Boardwalk Dog House. This is just a simple German sausage on a bun. I ended up putting some mustard on it, but they have a lot of options there. It's really a cool included restaurant. They've got beef franks and Italian sausage, German sausage, chicken apple sausage, so many cool things. And this was open every day at certain times, but it's definitely one of the included options that you have to check out on Oasis of the Seas. So I think second lunch was to try the pizza. There on the Royal Promenade is Sorrento's Pizza. This is the pizza option. It opened at 11 every day and it stayed open until 3 a.m. And they had pizza all the time. You could walk right up. You barely waited in line. And a variety of pizzas. We usually just took what was available, and this was really good. I mean, it's the crust wasn't too crispy, but kind of a nice foldable crust, and all the toppings were fresh and ready to go. Very good. Maybe second lunch, I don't know, but we'll call it that. And for dinner that night, we went to 150 Central Park, a really cool specialty restaurant there in the Central Park area of the cruise ship. And they start you off with this assortment of bread with unsalted butter and a variety of salts. And so the waiter went through a presentation of what each one of the salts were, and then he invited us to try each of them. So basically you would split the roll, put the butter on, and then sprinkle the various salts on there. So it was really cool, kind of a nice way to pass your time as you were waiting for your food to come. And then the food started rolling out. I got this first, my appetizer here is the lobster gnocchi. It's in a carrot butter sauce with a herb salad. It was delicious. Definitely give you the taste of lobster, and then of course gnocchi, a potato-based pasta. It was good. And for our main, we did the Chateaubriand, which is a 18-ounce roast tenderloin of beef for two, which they carved tableside. So really cool tableside presentation. Sliced it up for us, served with béarnaise sauce and a potato leek gratin, and they also brought us out some asparagus and some other vegetables. The other thing that was cool is the special for the night was a seared black cod, and the guy said you really have to try this, and so we also had an additional entree of the black cod, and it was super flaky. It was delicious. It was something I would have ordered if I was not having beef. So yeah, super good food there at 150 Central Park. And then we finished it off with dessert, and for dessert I actually had the lychee tres leches, which is their version of a tres leches cake. Tres leches is a Spanish dish which means three milks, and so this was a milky creamy cake with a tropical fruit salad. It was delish. So yeah, that was it. No late night snacking for us on night one. Of course, it was a super busy day with embarkation, and the meal was just wonderful at 150 Central Park. So we get up the next day and we make our way to the Windjammer just to see what that is like for breakfast. And at the Windjammer, had some pretty standard fare for me. First, one plate with a little bacon, some sauteed mushrooms, and potatoes with ketchup. The cool thing is the bacon was self-serve. If you've ever been on a cruise ship and you've had to go through some sort of challenge to get your bacon. I was on a cruise one time. They said, if you don't smile big enough, we're not going to give you the bacon. But not so on the Oasis of the Seas. You could walk right up, handle the tongs yourself, and serve yourself some bacon. And the bacon was good. It was crispy. And then accompanying the bacon, I also had what should be a Lido Loca standard breakfast. It's a little bit of the spiced meats, cheese, and cantaloupe. This is salami.
but all right there from the Windjammer. A great selection. It was pretty crowded, as to be expected. There was a lot of people on the cruise ship, but as we would find later, there are other buffets that you can explore that have less people. But that is how we kicked off the day. For lunch, we did a little specialty lunch. We went and tried Johnny Rockets, and I started it off with a Coke float, which was delicious. Jenny had the extended drink package, and so hers milkshake was included. The Coke float was an additional charge. They do bring the table a side of choice, and we did a little half and half, got onion rings and French fries. And then for the price that you pay, you can order as many sandwiches as you want. And so I tried their BLT. Couldn't get enough bacon at breakfast, supposedly. So I had their BLT, and I just had their regular single cheeseburger. Both were quite good. It was, of course, more food than we could eat. We didn't finish it all off. But yeah, it was well worth, I believe it was $11.95 per person. And I felt like it was well worth that. The burgers were delicious. The food was fresh. And I haven't eaten at a Johnny Rockets in quite a long time, so I thought it was money well spent. Plus, we wanted to share it with you guys. So that's Johnny Rockets. And then for dinner that night, we did make our way back to the Windjammer Buffet. And I just went with a traditional meal for me. I've got some New York strip steak, a little hollandaise sauce, mashed potatoes, a puff pastry, and grilled squash and zucchini. It was all delicious. I don't think I tried any dessert that night, but it was super good. And as the second night of our cruise came to an end, we did do a little late night snacking on the balcony that we had in our stateroom. Just made a stop at Sorrento's Pizza, got some fresh pepperoni pizza, and then they do have a 24-hour cafe there, the Royal Cafe. It's where Jenny would get all of her coffee, but they also have a sandwich and dessert case, and so we got a couple of these Italian sandwiches, which were pretty good. On day 3, we made our way into Labadee, and we also made our way to a new breakfast spot. This is from the Solarium Bistro. This is the area at the front of the Oasis of the Seas. They have a little buffet there, and I finally found some smoked salmon. I think it was probably on the Windjammer the previous day, but I spied it out. Just had a little bagel with lox and cream cheese, capers, and tomato. Again, self-serve bacon's hard to turn down, and I tried to make it healthy with a little cantaloupe, but yeah, this was my breakfast for day 3. As the time got closer for us to leave the cruise ship and go to Labadee, we made the decision just to stay on. We were going to go do a little beach day, but we decided the ship was looking pretty empty. Let's do a little hot tub and swimming pool, and that is what we did. I did sneak off briefly just to get a picture of the ship, and when I came back, we did go back to the Windjammer and have a little lunch. The cool thing about the Windjammer is they had hot dogs and hamburgers every day on the buffet, and here I grabbed a hot dog. I got some sweet potato wedges, a little fried fish, cucumber salad, and then that was like a lamb and rice ball. I don't remember the official name, but everything was so delicious. That night we did have another specialty dining opportunity. We went to Chops, which is the premium steakhouse there on the Oasis of the Seas, located in Central Park. And this is a traditional steakhouse. All the food was really good. Started off with some bread and some butter. I had the classic wedge with, of course, blue cheese, bacon. I keep looking at all these pictures. I ate a lot of bacon, but this is one of my favorite things. But I did change it up a little bit, moved away from the beef. First night I had that Chateaubriand. Second night I had New York strip steak from the Windjammer. So I went with a rack of lamb, and when I took this picture, I didn't have the mint jelly. But if you are a lamb fan, the rack that they had there at Chops with their mint jelly, it was so good. And then a variety of sides. We had steamed asparagus, sautéed mushrooms, creamed spinach, and the things on the right were little potato cakes. They were like cheesy potato cakes, which were good. And then for dessert, I got a red velvet cake, which is one of my favorites. Everything was good at Chops. It was what you would expect from a specialty steakhouse restaurant, and it's one that I would recommend. Good food. So the next day, I woke up before Jenny, and I was living like a hobbit. This is my first breakfast. I grabbed this in the Windjammer Buffet. We've got a little croissant with Swiss cheese, tomato, and bacon. A little hash brown with ketchup, and the ever-present cantaloupe. And then once Jenny woke up, we thought we would try another included breakfast spot, which was the Park Cafe in Central Park. They had both a bagel station and an omelet station, and I was kind of full still, so I just opted for some prosciutto and more cantaloupe. You can't have enough cantaloupe. That's what I think. Now, normally I don't talk about the food that we ate in the port in these videos, but this was Falmouth Jamaica Day, and we found tasty patties. We had Jamaica Patties. These were delicious from a little shack there in the port, and I can't say enough about how good that was. And for dinner on Falmouth Day, we were alerted by our waiter and Chops about an included specialty option on the Oasis of the Seas, and that was back at the Solarium Bistro. They have a really interesting dining experience where the appetizer and the desserts are served buffet style, but you order your entree off the menu and it's prepared fresh. So a specialty dining that is included with your price, doesn't cost anything, and it's all Mediterranean themed. So this is my appetizer plate: calamari, sauteed mushrooms, hummus with a little olive tapenade, and pita bread. That is a lamb meatball in a tomato sauce, and grilled shrimp. Also some fingerling potatoes and some zucchini. It was really great. They had a big selection there, and these are the things that made it on my plate. And additionally, I grabbed a pre-made Greek salad that had all the goodies in it: cucumber, tomato, pepper, feta cheese, Clamato olives, and Greek dressing. And for my main, I went back to the beef. I think beef and bacon, that's turning out to be a big theme of this video. This was a New York strip steak, cooked medium rare, little broccoli and potato, and there's a roasted tomato under there that you can't see. It was delish. And then for dessert, I just went baklava, which is one of my favorite Greek desserts. Phyllo dough with a kind of a nutty center, and all kind of drizzled with honey. It was good. So the following day, after we left Jamaica, we had a sea day making our way to Cozumel, and we looked on the Daily Compass, and we found that Johnny Rockets also had an included breakfast. So we made our way over to Johnny Rockets, and there, just want to point out part of the included drinks, of course, ice water and coffee and chocolate milk. You have to ask for the chocolate milk, but they will bring it to you. And I actually found a dish on their menu that did not have eggs, and so they have this breakfast potato scramble, I think, but there's no egg in it. And so it was potatoes, ham, onion, and bacon, and then I also got a side of bacon, continuing the theme. A cool benefit of our booking with the room overlooking Central Park was that there was an included specialty lunch. You could get lunch at Johnny Rockets for free, Sabor, or Giovanni's Table, which is their Italian restaurant. We chose Sabor. They start you off with chips and salsa, and at your request, they will also bring you fresh-made guacamole. It was great. It took a little bit for the guacamole to get there, but they were in the back making it, and it definitely tasted fresh. Tried something new here. This was a red snapper ceviche, and I'd never had it before. This was super spicy. So ceviche is a cooking technique where they use acids to cook the protein, and so the broth here is a orange juice based broth, and it was super spicy. So a lot of peppers, a lot of fish. I ended up liking it. It was a unique taste for me, and Jenny, we had her try a bite, and the face that she made was priceless. There is a video of that. I will link the vlog above where you can go see Jenny's ceviche face, but she didn't love it, but it was a decent appetizer. And then for the main, I had shrimp tacos and yucca fries. It's kind of a build your own here. They bring you everything kind of deconstructed, and then you put it together. And then they had a good dessert selection. This is what I chose. I chose churros with a vanilla cream sauce and a chocolate sauce. And I tell you what, I'm not sure what the price is normally for lunch at Sabor, but I don't think it's any more than $15, and I felt like we got really good value for it. Again, if you book an interior balcony in Central Park or the Boardwalk, you will get one free specialty dining, and I don't think anybody would be disappointed. If you like Mexican food, I don't think you'd be disappointed with Sabor. Dinner that night was in the dining room, the main dining room. First time that we'd gone there, and I tell you what, the decor there was off the chain. This was my starter that was recommended to me. This was an onion tart. I did not get the fact that this was a kind of a quiche, and so it was really heavily egg-based. I got through about one bite, and I just couldn't take it because of all of the egg. It looked good. It didn't taste to me as good as it looked, and so they brought me a Caesar salad instead, which was good. And then I also had a shrimp cocktail that night. I'm always fascinated with the presentation of shrimp cocktail here in the main dining room, but it's about the same that I've seen others, and it was good. And then, of course, it was lobster night, and so what was interesting is the waiter said, look, you can get lobster, but it's not going to be that much. What I would recommend is ordering the prime rib with a lobster tail, have a little surf and turf. I said, you can do that? He said, I recommend doing that, and that's exactly what I did. So pretty rare prime rib, maybe more rare than I should have had, and then one lobster tail. I think you could have got more, but this was plenty, and the horseradish was really good too. So that was the first time I'd ever had included lobster on a cruise. I'd paid for a lobster upgrade before, but the lobster wasn't bad. But another first was the Baked Alaska. Now, I know there's a flaming presentation that goes along with this. That wasn't the case for us. It was just brought to the table. But basically, they take a wedge of Neapolitan ice cream and wrap it in a flamed meringue and serve it. It was delicious. I would definitely have that again. I'm not a huge ice cream fan. Sometimes it wreaks a little havoc on my tummy. But I ate this whole thing. It was very delicious. The following day was Cozumel Day, and we continued to try to seek out included breakfast options. And so we had breakfast in the main dining room, and this was an order off the menu. It was interesting there. They had a buffet set up in the middle, but they also allowed you to order off the menu. And so we gave the menu a try. And basically, I just had some French toast and sausage links. It was good. The French toast are really thick and had a good flavor to it. And then the sausage links, just regular breakfast sausage links. It was a good breakfast. And the thing I like about the menu is it's a little better for portion control. Again, you know, if I have access to the free bacon, I go a little crazy. So this was a good way for me to start off the day with some level of control and only one breakfast, so not too bad. We did venture into Cozumel, explore the port a little bit, and we stopped at Margaritaville just to try a drink. We had a pineapple pina colada with a shot of Fireball in it. They call it a fire colada. That was pretty good, and we ordered these little hamburger sliders. Just beef and cheese, a little spicy mayo with the fixins there. It was good. I felt like the value was good. We got the drink and the sliders, and after tip, I think it was about $23 or $24, which wasn't bad considering that we were at port. We did not have second breakfast on this day, but we did have second lunch when we returned from exploring the port a little bit at Cozumel. We snuck up to the Windjammer Buffet to see if there was still anything going on. And I snagged another hot dog, some french fries with ketchup, that's a salami sub, and that's a little carrot and raisin salad. Not bad for second lunch. We returned to the main dining room for dinner that night. This is the assortment of bread they provided for us, and it was Escargot Night, and that's one of mine and Jenny's favorite appetizers. This was really good, so I showed the exposed metal there. It's a metal dish with a little pocket for each of the escargot. And then on top there was all garlic, butter, and breadcrumb. It was pretty magical, actually. We ate the whole thing. And then here I had a braised beef spare rib. And I tell you what, this thing was so good. It was fork tender, delicious with, of course, root vegetables there and mashed potatoes. I highly recommend this if you see this on your menu on a Royal Caribbean ship. It was good. And then finally, I got my creme brulee. Standard creme brulee fare, nothing to write home about, but creme brulee done right. I feel like this was the night that we stayed a little late at the casino, and nothing helps those casino losses go down better than some pizza. Again, I can't stress enough how easy it was to get pizza at Sorrento's. You just walked right up, and within a few minutes, you had your pizza. It was great. So moving into our final sea day, one of the things we discovered during the cruise is that the Wipeout Cafe, which is fairly close to the Windjammer Buffet, had basically the same setup, a smaller version of the buffet, and that's where we headed for breakfast on the final day, our final sea day. Here I grabbed a couple rolls, some cheese, salami, bacon, and cantaloupe. For lunch that day, we finally took the recommendation, a lot of our friends and members of the Lido Loca cruising community saying, make sure you go and get a roast beef sandwich at the Park Cafe in Central Park. And we did. And I was regretting that we did not do that sooner. It is a carved roast beef sandwich. They carve it right there in front of you, put it on one of these fresh buns, pour a bunch of au jus on it, and man, it was a delicious sandwich. Had I realized earlier in the cruise how good that sandwich was, I probably would have had it more than once. But yeah, great roast beef sandwich there at the Park Cafe in Central Park. Now, nestled at the front of the boardwalk is Cups and Scoops. We'd walked by it several times, but had never stopped in. And finally on this day, we did go in and have a little ice cream. This is a scoop of Cherry Garcia in a waffle cone, an additional charge, but some really good ice cream. So for dinner on the final night, we made the decision that we wanted to be well positioned for the DreamWorks Goodbye Parade, and we knew that it passed right in front of Sorrento, so the goal was to go find a chair at Sorrento's, maybe grab some pizza. The cool thing is they have an additional setup at Sorrento's, and sometimes they have like additional food. And so on this plate, I was able to get a little prosciutto, I got Jenny some eggplant, and then a couple pieces of bruschetta, which was good. And then, of course, some pepperoni pizza. It did work out well. We were positioned right at the good spot for the parade. We kind of got there about a half an hour early, ate our dinner slow, and then enjoyed the parade.
Well, that's it. That pizza was the last food we ate on the Oasis. So sad. It was time to pack up and go. Didn't get anything the next day. We just got right off the cruise ship and sadly made our way back to Charlotte, North Carolina. What did you think? Did you pick out a favorite? Is there something that you'd like to try, something that moved you? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to follow us on social media and come on over to Facebook to the Lido Loca cruising community where you can get your cruising questions answered and be a part of the Loca fam. Again, my name's Tony. That was all the food I had on the Oasis, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.